Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Teenager Who Cooks. Today I'm doing yet another pie video, and I'm going to be making two different types of pies today actually. One is going to be a cherry pie with these nice frozen cherries, and another will be a persimmon pie using these big nice persimmons that we picked the other day. So the persimmon pies will be small, and they will have this nice design in the shape of a rose. And then the cherry pies will just be like your normal cherry pies, and we'll make them in these little tins. So get ready, and we're about to start. So it's time to get started with the making of our pies. I've created an all butter pie crust again, split it into two. You guys can see how to make this from one of my past pie videos. So now I'm just going to unwrap it. It's been sitting in the fridge for a few hours at this point. And so the first one I'm going to use to make our 3 cherry pies. Okay, so now I'm going to separate this pie crust, give a little more for the bottom and then a little bit less for the lattice on top. You can see here. Now I'm just going to keep this in my plastic wrap. We'll use this later. You can also just keep it in your fridge. I'm going to do that right now. And then with this thing over here, I'm going to split this into 3 equal parts. It's just so I can roll them out into circles and place them into my pie trays. So try best to get them equal. So I have my little pie crust. It's in kind of a rounded shape, and I'm just going to roll it out until it hits about 7 inches. So this is pretty much rolled out to the size that I want it. It's pretty thin. Just give it a last few rolls. So it's now time to get our pie crust off of our rolling mat. I've rolled it out to about 7 inches, which is about 2 inches bigger than the width of this little pan here. So I'm just gonna lightly set it in. Just want to lift up the edges, make sure you don't stretch it, and let the pie crust settle in. Now we're just going to repeat this process for all of our other 3 pies. So we have our pies, our pie crust are in the fridge now. I'm just going to get started on our cherry filling. So these are some frozen cherries. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, a tablespoon of cornstarch, and then I'm going to add some lemon zest and then some lemon juice. So and then finally, with that lemon, you just got the zest of, I'm going to add some lemon juice. Just a squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Alright, now we're going to just mix this cherry mixture up until all the sugar is like dissolved. It's all mixed together. Alright guys, so it's time to put our cherry filling into our little pie crust. I'm just going to mix up so that each cherry is coated in the mixture, and we're just going to fill these up and just spread the cherries out evenly. So our pies have been filled with the cherries. I'm going to get the remaining dough that we cut off earlier. Just going to roll it out into a log and split it into 3. Okay, and now that I have these little spheres, I'm going to press them down, just roll them out into little circles. Now here you're just going to roll them out to the length of your actual pie pot, whatever, pie tray. So mine is 5 inches, so I'm just going to roll it out until it's 5 inches. Now once I've done that, I'm just going to cut it into strips. So just like that. Now I can go ahead and build like my lattice shape. So with our leftover pie crust, I formed 6 strips, and now I'm just going to set my strips like this. So I'm not gonna seal this end yet. Set another one down in the middle. I'm gonna seal one end, not this end. And then finally one at the end. So I'm gonna do the same. And then now I'm gonna pull back the middle one. Set this guy right here. Put the middle one back. And pull back the other two. Set a new one in the middle. Seal it with the rest of the pie crust. Now I can go ahead and seal these. Not going to be pulling them back anymore. Pull the middle one back one last time, and then place our last strip. So just like that, we have a really nice and simple lattice, and it looks really, really nice. Beautiful. And we'll just repeat this for all of our pies. So I put my cherry tarts in the fridge, and so I've taken out my second half of the pie dough. It's right here, you can see. And I'm going to roll it out until it's very flat. And so this is just going to be the preparation for our persimmon tarts, or persimmon pies, however you want to call them. And so for the persimmon pies, we're not actually going to roll out each individual dough. We're going to just roll the entire thing out and then cut out little circles using like a cup or something. Alright, so after rolling out the dough, I'm just going to use this little bowl to cut out our little circle. And once the circle is cut out, I can roll it out to the desired thickness, just a bit more. And then I'm just going to gently set it on top of my little cupcake tin type thing. And this will just be like a tiny little mini pie. Perfect. And we'll just repeat this process for as many as you can make, actually. Alright, so the crust for our persimmon pies have actually gone into the fridge again, just so they firm up again before we actually lay down the persimmons. So I'm just going to take one whole beaten egg, and I'm just going to lightly brush the top of my cherry pies. These guys have been in the fridge for about 30 minutes. They're all firmed up, so this is what we want. Now we just drizzle this egg yolk over it. And this will just give it that nice, characteristic golden color of the pie crust that we really, really want. So the egg wash has been applied to our cherry pies. I'm just going to sprinkle the top with some granulated sugar. This is just to make them look nice and just add a bit of sweetness. And now they can go in the oven. Alright, so I'm gonna put my little pies, my prepared pies, into the oven that's preheated at 375 degrees. And I actually already have a baking tray set in here, so it's been warming up, and I'm just gonna put my pies on the baking tray. Just gonna go up, and then close it up. I'm just gonna set the timer for about 30 minutes now. So it's time to prepare our persimmon. So I have like around half a cup of sugar here. You can use less or more depending on how sweet your persimmons are. I'm just gonna add a bit of cinnamon. And then mix that up. Nice, you have a nice fragrant cinnamon flavor. I don't like to add too much cinnamon personally, but you can add as much as you want, depending on how much you like the flavor of cinnamon. And then, so now I'll just add a few spoons of this to our persimmons. And so these persimmons were sliced and peeled. You don't have to peel them if you are fine with the texture of the peel. I personally like peeling the persimmons. And then so we'll mix this up. It's about 3 to 4 persimmons. So, and my persimmons are really sweet, so I'm not adding too much sugar right now. And we'll just let them sit and absorb the sugar for a little bit. Alright, so it's time to arrange our persimmon rows pie. So I'm just gonna take a nice big slice of persimmon first. See, I'm just going to set it right along the edge, just like that. It's okay if it doesn't perfectly adhere. We want that kind of effect. And now I'm just gonna add another one on the edge. Now this is something you're just gonna have to be patient. I'm gonna add another one. Just like this, we're just gonna continue adding more and more, and eventually we'll have ourselves a really nice and beautiful kind of rose pattern. Alright, so now these persimmon pies are gonna go in next to the cherry pies for 30 minutes. So I'm gonna set them in on another rack and just continue baking. Alright guys, so all my pies are ready. You can see the persimmon pies turned out super nicely. You get that nice little rose design and sprinkle some powdered sugar on at the end. It looks amazing. And this cherry pie comes out of the oven all bubbly and good. And when it cools down, you can even smell the cherry aroma from across the room. So I'm gonna try one of my persimmon pies right now. Just gonna take my knife, cut down the middle. You can see there's a bunch of little layers of persimmon cross section here. I also added some sugar at the bottom of the pie, so you get that little nice sweetness at the end. So I'm just gonna try a piece with some persimmon. It's very, very good. The pie crust is very crunchy because of the butter. It's super flaky. The persimmon is really soft and sweet, and you get the cinnamon flavor as well. My god. So, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one.